Same fish, same tank, same water. 6 different foods from PetSmart. 30 days. And by the end, one tank had fish that were visibly declining. Not dramatically, not obviously, quietly, in the way that most fish owners never notice until it's too late. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you buy fish. You spend weeks researching which fish to keep, which tank to buy, which filter to run, and then you grab whatever fish food is on sale at the checkout aisle without a second thought. That food goes into your tank twice a day, every day, for the entire life of your fish. And most of it, the majority of what's on those PetSmart shelves right now, is not what your fish actually need to thrive. Some of it is genuinely fine. Some of it is empty calories with a colorful label. And one brand I tested, the one most commonly recommended by store employees, produced results in my tanks over 30 days that I genuinely did not expect to see. I'm saving that reveal for the end, because once I show you the comparison, you're going to look at that container on your shelf differently. Quick note before we start. I've linked all the top-performing foods from this experiment directly in the description below. If you want to grab any of them after watching, the links are already there. No hunting around. This channel runs experiments. We show you the data. Let's go. Before the rankings, the science behind why fish food quality matters more than most hobbyists realize. Fish are what they eat, completely and directly. Unlike mammals with complex digestive systems that compensate for nutritional gaps, fish convert food into body tissue, energy, and immune function with almost no buffer. Poor nutrition in fish shows up as faded coloration, the first visible sign. Compromised immune function, stunted growth, and shortened lifespan, often mistaken for just aging. Most commercial fish foods use fillers, wheat flour, cornstarch, soy derivatives, as primary ingredients. These provide calories, but minimal nutritional value for carnivorous and omnivorous species. Your fish eats. It isn't starving, but it isn't thriving either. There is a difference. And after 30 days of side-by-side testing, that difference became visible. 6 identical 10-gallon tanks. Same water source, same filtration. Same stocking, 8 Ember Tetras and 4 Corridoras in each tank. Each tank fed one specific food for 30 days. Same feeding schedule, twice daily, amount calibrated to what each fish could consume in 2 minutes. I measured 4 things at day 0, day 15, and day 30. Coloration intensity, photographed under identical lighting. Activity level, behavioral observation scored consistently. Feeding response, how quickly fish approached food at feeding time. Waste output, water clarity and nitrate accumulation rate reflecting digestibility. That last one surprised me most. Higher quality food means less waste. The fish absorbs more and excretes less. Your filter handles less load. Your water stays cleaner between changes. A premium food isn't just better for your fish, it's better for your entire system. Let's go through the results. Starting from the bottom. Rank 6, generic store brand flake food. The store brand flake food that costs $2.99 and gets recommended because it's cheap. Day 30 results. Lowest coloration scores across all 6 tanks. Slowest feeding response. Highest nitrate accumulation, meaning the food was passing through largely undigested. The ingredient list tells the story. Fish meal, listed 4th. Wheat flour and soy protein concentrate, listed 1st and 2nd. Your fish is eating mostly plant starch. Ember tetras are omnivores with a strong insectivore lean. Corydoras naturally consume invertebrates, biofilm, and organic material. Neither species evolved to digest grain-based fillers as a primary food source. Rank 6. Cheap, for a reason. The cost goes somewhere, and it comes out of your fish. Rank 5. Tetramin Tropical Flakes. This is the most widely sold fish food in North America. The brand that's been the default recommendation for decades. After 30 days, it's better than store brand, meaningfully better. Fish meal as a primary protein source, faster feeding response, and marginally better coloration scores than rank 6. But here's what the 30-day data showed clearly. Tetramin is adequate. It is not optimal. Coloration scores plateaued at day 15 and didn't improve through day 30. Waste output was higher than the top 3. It's the fish food equivalent of a diet that technically covers nutritional minimums. Your fish won't deteriorate on it. They won't thrive on it either. Rank 5, the default, not the best. Rank 4, Aquarium Tropical Flakes. Aquarium performed better than most hobbyists expect, because most have never tested it against anything else. Slightly higher marine protein percentage than Tetramin. Feeding response was noticeably faster at day 15. Marginally better coloration under identical lighting at day 30. Digestibility was slightly better, lower nitrate accumulation rate than Tetramin. Solid mid-tier food that doesn't get the attention it deserves, because Tetra dominates shelf space and recommendation culture. Rank 4. Better than you think. Still not the top. Ranks 6 through 4 were the expected results. Cheap food performs like cheap food. Mid-range food performs like mid-range food. Here's where the data got genuinely interesting. The top 3 foods produced differences in my tanks that were visible to the naked eye at day 30. Not subtle. Not, maybe I'm imagining this. Visible. And the food that ranked first, the one most hobbyists have never heard of, that doesn't have the shelf space or the marketing budget of Tetra, produced the most dramatic single-month coloration improvement I've ever documented in a controlled tank environment. But first, the food that surprised me the most. Rank 3, Zoo Med Spirulina Flakes. Zoo Med's spirulina formula was the most visually different food in the experiment. Deep green flakes. Strong spirulina scent that the fish detected immediately. Feeding response at the surface was the fastest of any food tested in the first week. By day 15, the coloration scores in the Zoo Med tank were the highest in the experiment. Here's where it gets nuanced. Spirulina is exceptionally effective at enhancing and maintaining color in fish, particularly blue and green spectrum colors. For species that naturally display those tones, it's genuinely remarkable. But spirulina is a plant-based protein source. For omnivore-leaning species like ember tetras, a purely spirulina-based diet provides excellent color enhancement, but may lack the animal protein spectrum needed for optimal immune function long-term. The conclusion? Zoo Med spirulina is not a primary food. It is the single best color-enhancing supplement available at PetSmart. Used 2 to 3 times per week, alongside a high-quality protein-based food, it produces color results nothing else on this shelf can match. If you want to try it, I've linked the exact Zoo Med Spirulina formula in the description. It's one of 3 products I'm recommending from this experiment, and the link takes you straight to it. Rank 3. Extraordinary specialized tool. Use it as a supplement, not a staple. Rank 2. API Tropical Pellets. The API Pellets almost won this experiment. Ingredient list. Fish meal as the primary protein. Whole shrimp. Krill. No wheat flour in the first 5 ingredients. The pellet format itself is a significant advantage over flakes. Flakes begin losing nutritional value the moment they hit water. Water-soluble vitamins start leaching out within 30 seconds. Fish that don't feed immediately are eating progressively less nutritious food. Pellets hold their nutritional integrity significantly longer. The fish gets what the food promises, regardless of whether it feeds immediately or finds the pellet on the substrate 30 seconds later. Day 30 results. Second highest coloration scores. Highest activity levels of any food tested. Second lowest waste output, indicating excellent digestibility. The feeding response was slower initially. Fish accustomed to flakes take a few days to recognize pellets as food. Once they did, the API tanks were the most energetically fed tanks in the experiment. This is the most underrated food on PetSmart's shelf. Costs the same as Tetra. Performs dramatically better. I've linked the API Tropical Pellets directly in the description. It's the second of the 3 products I'm recommending. If you've been using flakes your whole life, this single switch will produce visible results within 2 weeks. Rank 2. Outstanding performer. Hugely underrated. Best value for the quality. Rank 1. Hikari Micro Pellets. The Hikari Micro Pellets won. Not narrowly. At day 30, the coloration difference between the Hikari tank and the Tetramin tank was visible in side-by-side photographs taken under identical conditions. The Ember Tetras in the Hikari tank had developed deeper orange-red coloration across the entire body. The Corydoras showed more defined pattern contrast. Activity levels were the highest across all 6 tanks at both day 15 and day 30. Waste output was the lowest in the experiment. The water in the Hikari tank was measurably cleaner at day 30, same filtration, same water change schedule. Here's why. Hikari's micropellet formula uses a minimum of 48% crude protein, derived primarily from fish meal and krill. The particle size is calibrated for small-bodied fish. Ember Tetras and Corydoras can ingest them whole, maximizing nutrient absorption compared to flakes they're biting into pieces. The price point is higher than Tetramin. A small container costs approximately $8 to $10 at PetSmart versus $5 to $6 for comparable Tetra volume. Here's what the math actually looks like. A container of Hikari at that price lasts the same tank approximately 6 weeks on a twice-daily feeding schedule. 6 weeks of the best nutritional outcomes in this experiment. Measurably better coloration, higher activity, cleaner water, for a price difference of roughly $4 over the same period. $4. The fish in your tank don't get to choose what they eat. That choice is entirely yours. The Hikari Micro Pellets are linked in the description. It's the 3rd recommended product from this experiment. If you only make one change after this video, make it this one. That's the link I'd click first. Rank 1, the best food tested, worth every penny of the price difference. The complete rankings. Number 1, Hikari Micro Pellets. Best coloration, best activity, cleanest water. Link in description. Number 2, API Tropical Pellets. Outstanding performer. Hugely underrated. Link in description. Number 3, Zoo Med Spirulina Flakes. Best color supplement. Use 2 to 3 times weekly, alongside rank 1 or 2. Link in description. Number 4, Aquarium Tropical Flakes. Solid mid-tier, better than most people realize. Number 5, Tetramin Tropical Flakes. Adequate, not optimal. Number 6, generic store brand. Cheap for a reason. Don't. The fish food aisle at PetSmart looks like a wall of equivalent options with different labels. They are not equivalent. The food that dominates that shelf, the brand that's been the default recommendation for decades, performs in the middle of a field of 6. The food that performs best is smaller, less prominent, costs slightly more, and most beginners walk right past it. That is not a coincidence. Marketing budgets determine shelf space. Shelf space determines what gets recommended. What gets recommended determines what most fish owners buy. The fish in your tank don't benefit from any of that logic. They benefit from protein content, digestibility, nutritional density. And now, you know which container actually delivers it. One thing before you close this video. Check the food container on your shelf right now. Flip it over, find the ingredient list. If the first ingredient is wheat flour or soy protein, that is a filler-first formula. Your fish deserves better than that. The 3 foods that earned their ranking in this experiment, Hikari Micro Pellets, API Tropical Pellets, and Zoo Med Spirulina, are all linked in the description below. I've also left a note on each link explaining exactly how I use them together, which one is the daily staple, which one is the weekly supplement, and how to transition your fish off flakes without losing feeding response. It's everything you need to make the switch without guessing. Subscribe right now if you haven't. The complete fish feeding guide drops next. How much to feed, how often, what to combine, and the mistakes that spike your ammonia faster than overfeeding alone. And drop a comment below. What food are you currently running? I want to see how many people are on Tetramin, because I think the numbers are going to surprise everyone in this comment section.